I hope you guys are having an awesome winter break. I've been doing a lot of day drinking as well as wearing flannel and fleece well into the afternoon, visiting with friends that have returned to town for the holiday break, and really it's been a much needed reprieve. And then my YouTube channel blew up. Katie over at Chapter Stacks as well as Rincey at Rincey Reads did a booktuber shout out video mentioning this channel. They were effusive, generous, and so gracious in their praise, and it's been a little overwhelming. These are some of the first booktubers I followed when I started, and Rincey's the reason that I actually started booktube in the first place. So I am a tad overwhelmed. It's like I've been sitting quietly in a darkened corner of the school cafeteria eating my lunch by the garbage pails, and now I've been invited to sit with the cool kids and have completely forgotten how to eat solid foods. Regardless, it's been a great way to cap off a year and a year in booktube. So let's take a closer look at some of my reading numbers. I've read 77 books this year, an accumulated total of 24,500 pages. This is the most books that I've read in the 4 years since I've been keeping track on Goodreads. Generally, I average around 40 books a year. I think a lot of it has to do this year with booktube. It's prompted me to do a lot more reading. And it hasn't been fast food reading. I haven't been indiscriminately gobbling up books, but rather close reading the ones that I have. It's actually upped my enjoyment. Now, if we actually dive into those numbers a little bit deeper, of those 77 books total, 39 have been from female authors. I've read 8 books in translation. 21 books have been authored by persons of color. I've read 17 works of nonfiction and 2 books of poetry. This is also the first year, in the spirit of the larger online community, that I've actually read books personally recommended to me. I mean, I'm like everyone else, that I've relied on online sites, print publications, and podcasts to determine what the next book is I'm going to read. I'm talking about personal recommendations, that friend of yours who just read The Secret and it changed their life, and now looks you in the eye and demands that you need to read it too. There you have it. It's a social contract. What happens if you don't read it? What happens if you do read it? Now, every time you look at your friend, you can't help but see them as a crystal-wearing, patchouli-smelling, hippy-dippy freak that's an online advertisement away from selling you Amway. Then what does that say about you as a cynical, judgy book snob? I mean, people are hard. I mean, that's why I read in the first place. It's this ideal solitary endeavor, a way to replenish all that energy that you expel trying to seem like a well-adjusted, confident individual, when in fact you're a full-blown, hand-wringing, raging introvert. Call it selfish if you want, but I've never been really good at imposed reading, whether it's by myself or through others. And that's why I don't have a physical TBR pile. Of all the books on my bookshelf, there's only 2 that I haven't read yet. And frankly, I've been thinking about walking them down to the little free library down the road because they weigh heavy on me. Whether it's a booktuber read-along, a literary prize review, or even a traditional book club, anything that tries to dictate what and when I read next still gives me a serious case of the howling fantods. So, starting small, I decided to take up a few personal recommendations, and the world didn't end. The books weren't horrible. It didn't prompt me to side-eye the recommender the next time I saw them. And in fact, a couple of them ended up being some of my favorite books of the year. Speaking of favorite books, the top 5 books that I read this year in no particular order are 3-Day Road, All the Light We Cannot See, Where the Air is Sweet, Broken Monsters, and Sweetland. I've done video reviews for 4 of those 5 books, so if you feel like it, you can always check them out on my channel. Still, Sweetland is probably my favorite book that I read this year, and I don't know why I didn't do a video review for it. I guess it was really difficult to talk about. It seems like a bad Canadian sitcom. It's a small island off the coast of Newfoundland. Basically, the government is offering significant compensation for the folks living there to leave the island. Frankly, it costs too much to keep up the infrastructure and it's unsustainable. So the trick is that everyone has to leave or no one gets any money. Moses Sweetland refuses to take the money and leave the island, much to the chagrin of everyone else there. But this is a dark, grim, so beautifully written story, and it's a meditation on death and dying and losing a way of life and losing life, and what that means, being isolated and alone in the world. Moses Sweetland is unmarried, has no kids, and it's just jaw-droppingly good. It's hard to explain. It's such a simple premise, but it's written so well, and I hope Michael Crummy gets way more attention for this particular book. Well, there you go. That's a year in reading for 2015. Hopefully you guys had an awesome year of reading as well. Let me know what your favorite books of the year were and how you fared as far as reading goes in 2015. Anyway, regardless, we're nearing in on 2016. I hope it's another great year of reading for you. Talk to you later.